Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So now I am start my Veda Durga Saptam. Okay. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunattu Sahaviryam Kadavapahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jata Vedase Sunavamaso Mamadati Yato Nidahati Vedaha Sanapparshadati Durgani Vishwanaveva Sindhunduritatyagnih Tam Agnivarnam Tapasadvalantim Baidochanim Karma Faleshu Dishtaan Durgan Devi Gum Sharanamaham Prapadyes Sutarasi Tarase Namaha Agni Tvam Parayānavyo Asman Swasti Bhirati Durgani Vishwa Puscha Prithvi Bahulyana Urvi Bhavato Gayatanaya Ashayoho Vishwanino Durgaha Jata Vedas Sindhunanava Duritati Parshi Agne Atrivan Manasa Granano Asmakam Bodhya Pita Tanuna Sahamana Mugna Magnigum Hubema Padamat Sadasthat Sanapparshadati Durgani Vishwaksha Maddevo Ati Durtatyagni Natnaushi Kamedyo Advareshu Shanascha Hotanabhyascha Satsi Swancha Agne Tanuvam Piprayasva Smabhyam Jasau Bhagamaya Jasva Go Bhirjushtamayujoni Shiktantave Indra Vishnodanu Sancharema Nakapishamagi Sauvasano Vaishnaving Loga Ihamadayanta Om Ka
Or what a thing important to a child. What a thing is important to a child may not be important to an adult. A child needs or important to the child is like balloon, toys, and many other things, external things. So in the opening eye of a child, it will think, it will see the external world, it will register so many sense world, and with that only the child will become happy. But the child grows into teenage. Then we have seen that a child, when it grows to teenage, then all its important thing that child liked, like balloons or maybe toys or maybe different kinds of other sweets, etc., all will drop. Its interest, now he is a teenager, its interest changed into another thing. So at that time, when he is a teenager, so his importance, he lies his importance to something else. He or her importance becomes something else. So that is how we shall see. And that same teenager, when becomes the adult, again interest changes. Then what is it that is important? That is what you have to understand. So then repeatedly, when you do different kinds of work of our interest, different kinds of our thoughts, it will create a particular impression in our mind, and those impressions only will make our character slowly. That is the mechanism of character. I do an action. Suppose I'm talking, it is an action. That action leaves an impression in the mind. And slowly, when the impression builds up after a certain time, suppose I'll give an example. Somebody practices, suppose, music. She doesn't know, a small child. Suppose this girl, she chanted so beautifully, really, it is impressive. The Durga Sukta is chanted. Today is being an auspicious day, Mahalaya day. So that chanting was very much relevant also. Devi Paksha started today onwards. 15 days. One Paksha is 15 days, so it will continue for 15 days. So, suppose a child learns music, say piano, playing piano. In the beginning, she doesn't know anything. She is to be taught the different keys, sa, which is re, ga, ma. Then all will be taught. Then slowly she will pick up different combinations, then different notes, and then how to put music into that. Then after a certain time, we have seen those piano keynotes, key becomes her samskara. Impressions have been created in her mind. And those keys and notes, now she can do without even seeing the keys. Even in darkness, she can play the entire music, and she can even add music. Suppose the new music she hears, she can even put into the piano. So that shows that by over a period of time, if we practice something, that becomes our samskara. So samskara means the spontaneous reaction that comes. So which will call reflex action, or whatever we may call it. So now, over a period of time, when you have different thoughts, different activities.
Excuse me, Maharaj, is there any acoustic problem?
No, I have no problem here. I removed the headphone. That is why I removed the headphone.
You are not at all audible.
Oh, is it? All are having the problem. But usually,
No, it's audible.
Audible to us, Maharaj.
I take classes like this only. I take classes every week. So many classes.
It is audible to me. It is audible to me.
Yes, audible now.
Yeah.
It's audible.
Continue.
Very good, very good. So a samskara is formed. So the topic I am just going slowly entering into that. That's why the samskaras will form. Samskaras called impressions in English. The samskaras form, and then we behave accordingly. That's how we go on. So the atmosphere into which we are born, we are grown, then accordingly our samskaras are born, and we behave accordingly. Next samskaras also, the field of the next samskaras is ready. That's how it goes on. Then ultimately, then how Upanishads can be connected? That is the point. That is our topic. How Upanishads can be connected with all these samskaras. Then my activities. It looks it is like there is no absolutely connection, but actually there is connection. So all the things put together are propensities. I told you just it gives the direction of our thoughts, gives the direction of our actions. So all put together, there is a beautiful Sanskrit sloka which is given. There are animals. Let us compare with animals and human beings. Human beings, they can have some goal. They can think something. They can choose something. They can analyze the things. And suppose somebody trains the dog. The dog also can pick up something temporarily out of compulsion. But in case of human being, even if he or she has everything at his or her disposal, but she will expand her horizon of knowledge. Horizon will be continuously expanding. That is the basic difference of human being and animals. Animals will never try to expand their knowledge. And we can see the result of this tremendous expansion that is there in front of us. You see, we have the progress that we have had, say, 400 years ago, and today's progress, at least external society. There's a vast difference. There's a sea gap between these two periods of time. So all the modern gadgets, then technology, then science, in every faculty of human thinking has been developed. Because we just think. This thinking set us, to put us, it put us to the road of civilization. That is what it is. Animals cannot think the way human can. Animal just can arrange something temporarily out of its instinct. They are basically instinct driven. That is animal nature. So the Sanskrit sloka that I was telling, there are 4 things that are common between animals and human being. So let me tell the sloka first. Ahara nidra bhayamaitu nancha samanyam etat pashubhir naranam buddhi reko hi adhiko vishesha buddhya vihina pashubhis samana. So it says ahara, food, everybody needs food. You see the child which plays with balloons or toys. When it is hungry, it will give up all the balloons and toys. It will take food first, and it will go to sleep when it is feeling sleepy. So ahara, food is required, and which is common to animal and also to the human beings. Nidra, sleep. After food, usually people sleep. So ahara, nidra, and then bhaya, the fear. That something we are threatened. That is whole life. We shall come to that little bit. So threat comes to us. Only we can overcome threats. No other animals can overcome threats. We can overcome because we have wisdom. We have wisdom, and if we do not have wisdom, then there will be great problem in front of us. Great philosopher told that if we do not increase in wisdom as much as we increase in knowledge, so increase of knowledge will be the increase of sorrow only. So that is the statement of a great philosopher. His name is Bertrand Russell. Now our wisdom only put us into this road of civilization. Now when we look at this ahara, nidra, and bhaya, and then the fourth one is maithunam. Maithunam means propagation of species, our own species. That is the, these are the four instincts, basic instincts that we share with the animals. Then why we are different? Every species is different. We are not telling that we are superior. You have to mind it. Everyone is superior in his or her own place. So we are different. We are unique. What makes us unique from animal? So that is buddhi. The second next line says buddhi ego adhiko vishesha. That is the special characteristics. Buddhi. Buddhi means we can set a goal, we can have choice, and we can plan for our future. We can understand between the good and the bad. We can do so many things out of buddhi. Buddhi is what, which is, it's called Nityayogananda buddhi, which decides. That decision making factor is called buddhi. Whose buddhi is purer or clearer, that buddhi can decide better and higher. So that is what buddhi works actually. And today world is facing a lot of problems, and we can know that how much problems are coming. Sometimes it is going out of our hands. So because of these things that we do not apply our buddhi properly. So this is buddhi which makes us different from all animal kingdoms. That is human being. Now, in this position, suppose we do not apply buddhi in proper channel. We are applying buddhi, no doubt about it. We are applying buddhi, all of us applying buddhi, more than animals, definitely. But we apply in such a way that slowly we bring our own difficulties, our own dangers. That's what it is. Simply, running after unselfish happiness without, suppose another great Nobel laureate writer, his name is Roman Rolla. He says when the search is only for unselfish goal, then soon the goal becomes goalless. That is what he says. Goal becomes goalless. So that is what it is. Now again we come back to Upanishad. What is Upanishad? Now we can understand with all these things. Suppose we desire so many things, we have ambitions, then we have goals, or whatever it is we call. But with all that, there is one thing common. Sometimes we have quite opposite, different goals. Like somebody wants to go to America and settle there, and somebody wants to come back from America, just opposite. And somebody wants to study and become a big scientist, and somebody doesn't want to study. Somebody wants to start a business, somebody hates business. So these are the opposite goals we can see in the human pursuits. But in all that, are they really opposite? They are actually not opposite. Then one thing Upanishad, now comes the Upanishadic point. So Upanishad says, with all this, so many kinds of desires, I told you the four ahara, food, we want different kinds of food. There are so many food courts, we go and test infinite number of tests. Cooking, culinary arts are developed. Science, it's a kind of science or art. So cooking, then sleeping, there are different kinds of luxuries we have. And we want to avoid fear, security threat. We want to always have some security. So with all things put together, only one thing common is that everybody wants anandam. Nobody can deny anandam. So that is one thing we can have common with all the goals, with all our pursuits and all our desires. We have only one thing, that is the anandam. There comes the, now what kind of anandam? Now let us discuss that. Anandam everybody wants. Nobody you can find in the whole world that he or she doesn't want anandam, happiness. That is for sure. And that is the turning point. Our search is perfectly okay. Even animals unknowingly, or they do not know, but you cannot trouble any animal, they will run away. So that is what it is. So human beings, we want happiness. Nobody wants. You see, it is a very interesting point, or it is very much a queer point. Why everybody should want happiness? There should be one or two, at least one person who may be wanting some misery. Suppose somebody may want misery, but temporarily. Goal must be happiness. To attain the goal of happiness, we accept little misery. Suppose I struggle hard in my business, I struggle hard in my study to attain some higher goal, which is happiness again. We accept misery to get again further happiness. So happiness is the final goal. So that is what we should think about. This is the happiness. Now, there are two kinds of happiness. There comes the Upanishads. Two kinds of happiness. Our Veda, the knowledge, Veda means knowledge system, Vidhatu. Vid means knowledge. So Upanishads will tell about this. Two kinds of happiness we have seen. One is called Vishaya Ananda. Vishaya Ananda, materialistic pursuit. I want to eat, I want to have so many pleasures, I want to have wonderful, fine clothing, and then costly bed, then other so many things I want. So that is one kind of pleasure. And most of the people, very rarely, those who want another kind of ananda, which will come back. So Vishaya Ananda means all kinds of eating, then sleeping, then meeting people and all that. So for all, the whole world, you just look at this world, how that world runs. It all runs only on this Vishaya Ananda. Only on this one point called Vishaya Ananda. And what it is just identified. First step is identification. We identify what Vishaya will suit to me. Suppose a student will choose his or her stream. Somebody will choose art, somebody will choose science, somebody will commerce. But according to the taste, it is to be chosen. So that is what it is. So the first identification. We identify what Vishaya will be suitable for my temperament, number one. And then when I identify that particular Vishaya, then secondly, we go for acquisition. Just go for acquisition. I want to gather those things in my possession. And then after gathering, what we do? We then, that's what it is. And then when we gather, we begin to enjoy. We do not want to let it go. We want to keep it for a long time. And we have noticed that this enjoyment, this happiness, whatever you call happiness or enjoyment, it is independent of time. Why independent of time? Because I want happiness now, I want happiness afterwards, morning, I want happiness in the afternoon, night, every time throughout the day, every day, 24 by 7, 365 days, I want happiness. So it defies time. That is one point of view. happiness I want, it should be independent of that. That means I want all of it. And number two, that happiness defies space. How you want happiness here? Suppose I am in Belur, I want happiness in Belur. I want happiness in, suppose I go to some other monastery, I want happiness there. Suppose I go to somebody's house, I want happiness there. You go to America, you go to Australia, you come to Japan, you come to India, or you just from the state, you go to Himalayas, you go to deserts. But you want happiness. So it defies also space. So it defies time, it defies space. So time and space, yeah, two things. And there's one thing that it defies. You see, these are the analyses given by the Upanishads. There comes the relevance. So, first of all, it goes beyond the time. I want happiness all the time. That means that happiness should be beyond. And then I want happiness everywhere. So that means if happiness is beyond the space, it doesn't, it is not limited by the space. And thirdly, I want happiness with every object that I have with me. Suppose I have one book, I want to derive happiness from that. Suppose I have one object with me which doesn't give me any happiness, I want to immediately get rid of that. Suppose initially, that is what point. Doesn't lie in, it lies in this mental state. A very positive one.
মানসী মানসী ম্যাডাম প্লিজ মাইক্রোফোন অফ করুন।
Yeah. Anybody is telling something? All right. So this happiness. Suppose I want suppose some object, and that object should give me happiness. And suppose I buy a particular object, and as long as it is giving me that particular mental state I wanted from that object, I will keep that object. Moment it doesn't give such things, I will immediately at that point I will try to reject it. Why to speak of object? Suppose I get into a job. That's what people do, get into a job. Moment he finds or she finds that her office is not properly suitable for his or her temperaments, immediately quit the job. Boss is dominating, boss is bossing. That's why he is boss, he is bossing. So he quit. So that's what. So and ultimately it comes to within ourselves. That Vishaya Ananda. So number one, the Upanishads, Bhagavan Shankaracharya puts it this way actually. It goes beyond the space, time and vastu. Space, that means everywhere I want, time, always I want, vastu. It doesn't matter what vastu I have, from all the vastus I want happiness. That means in Sanskrit it's called Desha Paricheda. Paricheda means limitation. Desha, space, Kala Paricheda, time limitation, and Vastu Paricheda, limitation with object. It defies. And one thing that satisfies this definition, which is called Atma. Atma satisfies this definition. Atma or Brahman, which now we are getting slowly into the Upanishad. Desha Paricheda, Kala Paricheda, Vastu Paricheda, Trivida Paricheda Rahitam Brahma. Brahma is beyond these three limitations. Now you see, clearly we can understand what we want in our life. The essence is nothing but the Atma. And that is all is Atma Anandam. I told you two types of Anandam, Vishayanandam. And I want, another thing, I want unlimited Anandam because it should not be limited by anything. There are only three kinds of limitations. You cannot have fourth limitation. Fourth limitation is not there. Space limitation, time limitation, and object limitation. And Brahman or the Atma defies all the three limitations. Now you just think. Now suppose I buy suppose a chair. I want to get happiness from the chair. And chair is limited. Is it not limited? Chair is limited by space. Why it is limited by space? Because it is here, it is not there. Limited by space. And the chair is limited by time. It was not there in my room, so I bought and it came to my room. And it was not manufactured, first of all. Some carpenter has manufactured it. So it was limited by time. And it is limited by object. How? Chair is not the table. That means chair is limited by the table. Therefore, chair cannot be the ultimate happiness that really I am seeking. Chair is an example. You take any other example. What to speak of chair? Nowadays, even relations. Suppose we, with great expectations, with great hope, we come into relation. Any relation. Then we find that it is not up to my standard or up to my mental state or whatever. Then immediately at that spot, we just give it up. So you just imagine what important it is, tremendously important. So there Upanishad enters. Upanishad, there enters the Upanishad. Now, this Ananda, now as I told you, this Ananda is very interesting thing, which we already have inside. And because of the mistake, we are just trying to thinking and going outside. Now, why we should not go for Vishaya Ananda? Vishaya Ananda means again, Vishaya Ananda means a limited Ananda. If you go for unlimited Anandam, it is absolutely allowed and you are perfectly following Upanishads. I'll come to the derivation of the Upanishad. First of all, let us complete this particular subject. So now, this Anandam, Vishaya Anandam, what happens? Let us talk about the limitations. There are some limits, pros and cons. What is pros? Pros means it is easily available. Comparatively, I can get it faster. Whereas Atma Anandam is not that fast. We need to work out on that. So this is little easily available, little easier. Number one. And number two, I can directly perceive it through my senses. I can see with my eyes, I can hear with my ears, I can taste all these things, 5 senses. So that is why I run after that. So these are the pros. And what is the cons? Cons means the limitations. Limitations are there. What is the limitation? I told you just now. Since it is limited by what? Desha, Kala and Vastu. And I depend on those limitations. And therefore, it is that means my happiness also becomes limited. Because that Vastu that I have picked up, that Vastu itself is limited by time, space and Vastu itself. So that my happiness also gets limited immediately if I try to directly derive happiness from that Vastu. That's why only seeking material joy makes our life really miserable. We have seen in our life, we have seen only running after material thing. There is no system of value. We do not care for value. We do not care for fellow feeling. Only my selfish interest. How long we can run? Not possible. It will come back. And that's why, Schopenhauer, another great philosopher, he says, when human beings solve his external problem with all the civilizations and development, then human being himself becomes his problem. That is because of this reason. We want to solve the problem from this limitation, and we want solution which is unlimited. You see, how is this possible? It's illogical. I want unlimited happiness, but I am expecting from limited things. So there comes the contradictions. Now what happens? Another thing, so outside things are fluctuating, changeable things, and therefore it is unpredictable because it borrows happiness from something else. It is not independently happy because I told you, real happy is beyond time, beyond space, and beyond objects. But these limited objects, just analyze. We can think, animals cannot analyze. Actually, Sri Ramakrishna gave a big, nice statement. He said, animals cannot think of God. Very simple way he has put it. This is God. What is God? God means your own Swarupam. Suppose you find out who you are actually, that is God. Your own Swarupam is God. So Sri Ramakrishna puts it that elephant is such a big animal, cannot think of God. Why? Because elephant cannot analyze this way. We can analyze. And therefore, it is very, very rare. Human being is very rare. Viveka Chudamani puts it this way, Bhagavan Shankaracharya has one more wonderful text. Durlabham trayame vaitat devanugrahaitukam manusyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha samshayaha. These three things are rare indeed in this world, which comes only by the grace of God. We cannot have in our heart. It is all divine interventions are required. What are that? Durlabham manusyatvam, having a human birth. Extremely rare. Why? Because we can analyze the things. And we can take the essence of the things, not only analyzing. We can take the essence and we can give up what is not essential, non-essential. That's what we can do. That's called Viveka. We can do that. Today's world, we have now stood on the crossroad. The most advanced countries are waging wars, deadly wars, horrible wars. In which direction the war will go, we do not know. Why should it be? They are so advanced. They call them civilized, advanced. There is something wrong. That is what it is. When that the collective morality declines, then what is the result? That is the result. When collective morality doesn't decline, there will be no war at all. That's what Sri Krishna puts it in Mahabharata. A tremendous massacre took place in Mahabharata war. So many people died. Innocent people died. Here also, innocent people are dying. We know that Israel war. So innocent people are dying both the sides. So, when Sri Krishna told Arjuna, you fight, what did it mean? It is dharma yuddha. It is fight for the dharma. You need to eliminate the evil forces. Sri Krishna had come for that. Some divine force has to come to eliminate the evil forces. That is the rule, law of nature. When when balance is lost, then some divine intervention takes place, and again society is made to come to balance once again. Okay, let us come to our topic again. So external objects are unpredictable because it is not in our hand. Because my happiness depends on the external objects. You just see, there are so many external factors we depend upon. Emotional independence, emotional dependence. We are totally dependent emotionally. Intellectual dependence, mental dependence, physical dependence. Nobody can avoid that. If you have body, you have to have physical dependence. But you can control your mind. To some extent, you can achieve mental independence, emotional independence. Emotionally, we are absolutely dependent. Suppose I put on a shirt, somebody tells, oh, this shirt is not that good. I feel so bad. Whole day becomes bad for me. I want to change the shirt as early as possible. I am emotionally absolutely dependent on that particular person who commented on my shirt. I buy a car and somebody tells this car is not good. I immediately get influenced. I make my house to stay in my house. It is my house. I have to take shelter in my house. Somebody says the staircase doesn't look good from outside. I feel so bad. Somebody says, I have seen, somebody told that your color of the house is not good. Immediately change the color of the house. That's what it is. That's what it makes. Oh, so very strange. It depends upon other. That means we totally emotionally depending on others. Then what about ourselves? We have no time. Just to think, almost whole of the life we spend only balancing the things. How to balance? Suppose threat comes from outside, how to balance it? Then when you grow, when is the time to grow? That is what we have to understand. So as soon as possible, we have to understand the reality, and then we have to start growing. There, Upanishads says that only. Then, why it is borrowed happiness? Suppose, because I told you external things are all limited by time, limited by space, and limited by the objects. So that therefore, since it is limited, it cannot have the real happiness. Because real happiness is not limited by time, not limited by space, not limited by object. That is what we want. Everybody wants that. That's for sure. Nobody can deny that. Which means I want my happiness from the external objects. So then these external objects are fluctuating. So my happiness also fluctuates because this is borrowed happiness. There is a risk. There is a risk because it is borrowed happiness. Conditional happiness, totally conditioned. Conditioned by what? Conditioned by your behavior, conditioned by the object that I possess, conditioned by the health I have. In fact, suppose I deteriorate my health, my happiness depends on my body, I becomes totally sad. Now, is there any unconditional happiness? Totally independent happiness? Is there any such thing? That Upanishad comes there and says, yes, that is called Atmanandam. Anything which is beyond time, beyond space, and beyond object must be unconditional. That is a law put by science, scientific law. Beyond time and space. What is that? It is infinity. It is the time and space that makes things finite. When you go beyond time and space, it is infinity. You are not limited by time. You are not limited by space. What is that? That is our happiness. That is our anandam. Now, let us focus in that anandam. What it is. Now, I will give an example. Suppose some vegetables are boiling on a pot. Now, it becomes so piping hot, you cannot touch the vegetables. Your hands will burn with that. But those heat is borrowed heat. Vegetables heat, those vegetables heat, and then heat of the water, then heat of the pot. But if I ask you, then where from the fire got its heat? It did not borrow from anybody. It is its own intrinsic nature. That's why it can never go. Whereas the heat borrowed from the fire, if you keep the vegetable outside the hot water, it will become cold again. And if you keep the hot water outside, it will become cold again. Even the pot which is on the fire, if you keep outside, it becomes cold again. Because this heat of the pot, heat of the water, heat of the vegetable, or heat of the anything borrowed from the fire shall have to go. Therefore, anything which is borrowed, that means which is coming, subject to arrival, means also subject to departure. That is the law of the nature. We cannot alter it. Unalterable law of the nature. Now, suppose you light a fire in very much cold country, like the North Pole or South Pole. You will light a matchstick. What it will give? It will give heat only, because heat is its nature, intrinsic nature. There is no, fear of loss. It will know. So that is what it is, Anandam. This Anandam Upanishads talks about. Satyam Jnanam Anandam Brahma. It is said Anantam Brahma, also Anandam Brahma. Raso Vaisaha. Rasa means Ananda. Rasakya Shevayam Labdva Anandi Bhavati. Nityayogananda Upanishad says. Like that. So Raso Vaisaha. So it is the tremendous happiness, condensed happiness without any limit, without any border. Just imagine. And that is our real nature. We are carrying all the time. We do not know. Just imagine, we are having tremendous amount of treasure, huge treasure. Moment we can discover, Upanishad says, you discover that treasure. All the Upanishads will tell you, you discover your inner treasure, inner dimension. Now we are depending on the sense data that is registered by the senses. Now we analyze those data and depend on our internal dimensions. We have to discover our dimension. That's why Durlabham, it is rare, because we only can discover our inner dimensions. Manushyatvam. And then Mumukshutvam, freedom. We want freedom. What is the proof? Proof is the external discovery. You look at the external world. Everything right in the external world, but all is wrong in the internal world. We do not care for the internal world. We leave it as it is. Everything is like scientific progress is good. The Upanishads doesn't contradict your scientific progress, never. In fact, there are two types of dharma talks about in the Vedas. Two types, only two types of dharmas. One is called Abhyudaya, social development. You develop the society through so many scientific progress, social progress, economic progress. That is the fundamental basis. Veda talks about it. And how to do that, that also Veda will tell you. And therefore, that is the reason why we had tremendous scientific developments as well. And secondly, it is called Nishreyasa. After a certain time, you will see, you will discover that there is enough. There is a point, you have to tell enough. Just like the child. When that balloon attachment dropped from the child doesn't know. Why? Suppose child grows into teenager. I just started with that example. When that balloon attachment dropped, suppose talk about ourselves. We used to like so many toys, so many balloons. Now when did it drop from us? It did not actually, you know how it dropped, the mechanism? Our attention got shifted from balloon to something else. Then automatically the balloon attachment dropped. You need not to put a special force to drop the attachment from the balloon. Same thing. Just we have to change our attention from the limited happiness to the unlimited happiness, which we want actually, our real want. Then what happens? This attachment will be dropped. That doesn't mean that you will be like going away from the society. Why will you go? You have to live in the society. You have to take food. You have to put on clothes. You have to have a house to put your head there. So you cannot give up all these things. You have to breathe air. You have to drink water. Then why will you go? Why will you run away? You have to stay here. You have to have everything, basic necessities, needs. Then you will understand with clarity. You have everything at your command, then you have charity. That is what. Those external things cannot threaten you anymore. Those money cannot threaten you anymore because you know that your security is within yourselves because you are infinity. That's the highest security. You know, there is a story when Alexander came to India, the great. His guru was Aristotle. Aristotle was a great philosopher, Greek philosopher. Aristotle's guru was Plato, and Plato's guru was Socrates. So Alexander came to India. His guru told, you meet sages there. Indian sages are very, very well known. Then Alexander came and met one sage. It's a very good, well-known story. And this story was told by Swami as well. It is found in other accounts also. Now, when he met that sage, he found that sage was with absolutely no cloth, loin cloth only have kopina. He has no home. He doesn't know when his next meal is coming. But when he talked with the sage, he could not talk with the interpreter. He talked. He was very, very satisfied to find that this sage was absolutely happy. Where from did his happiness come from? Where from did his happiness come? This Alexander was very much surprised. Then after talking, because he also was a little bit philosopher, Alexander. Then after talking for some time, Alexander told this sage, I want to take you to my country. Please come with me. I'll give you costly bed because you do not have any clothes. I'll give you costly clothes. I'll give you costly beds, costly food. You do not have any worry in your life. Please come to my country. Then this sage who was sitting on a rock, he just smiled and told, I don't want to go to your country. Then Alexander, first time somebody could tell no to Alexander. And then Alexander told, you know whom you are talking to? He says, I do not know exactly. You are a human being. I am talking to you. Then Alexander says, I am the emperor of the world. Then this sage smiled. Then Alexander told, once again I tell you, please come with me. Then he says, no, I will not go. I am so happy here. Why should I go? If I feel unfulfillment, then only I can go. I am not unfulfilled. I am totally fulfilled here. Then Alexander took out his sword and told, you know what I can do you? I can kill you. After hearing that, this says, so far he was smiling. Now he laughed aloud. Then the child that you are, can you kill me? Nobody can kill me. Nainam chindanti sastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, nachainam kledayanti apo, nasosayati marutaha. Bhagavad Gita. Even sword cannot pierce me, air cannot dry me, water cannot moist me, fire cannot burn me. So Alexander was stunned, dumbfounded. That is the strength, that is the security, that is the fearlessness. Doesn't fear even the person who is standing in front of you with open soul. That is the power of Atma, that Atma will give you. Because you know that you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are the Atma, your very Swarupam is the Atma. So that is what Atma will give us. So all the Upanishads unanimously, openly says that you do whatever you want, but the scriptures do not force. Scriptures say in maturity only we have to understand this. When you know, suppose again the child grows into the adult, becomes mature, then the balloon attachment got totally dropped. That is the child's nature with maturity. So when we get mature, then we can understand that external objects are not the real source of happiness. It is the mental state that gives me happiness. Then Upanishad comes, tells, yes, you are that. You are that. You are the happiness. You are the anandam. You are the knowledge. Very knowledge is you are. Not only it is anandam, you are the very existence, Upanishad says. Sat, Chit, Anandam. Chit means knowledge, you are the very knowledge. That is infinite knowledge, which is not limited by anything. You know, that knowledge that is getting reflected in the scientific world that you see, it is only extremely limited knowledge. When you put any adjective to anybody, suppose I give somebody name we call it adjective. Adjective means what? It limits the object. Any adjective, suppose I call it a chair, it limits the chair, or immediately limits. Any name limits. So you are beyond name. Since you are beyond any time, space, any object, so you are name as well. That is what is Upanishad. Upanishad tells. Now, I'll just give the derivation, same thing it will. Upanishad, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, Upanishad Nama Brahma Vidya. This is the knowledge. That knowledge which you have already, you need not to bring anything from outside. Outside things only work as stimulant. Nobody can threat you. You are omnipotent, omnipresent. You are already free. Only you have to know that. If we bring freedom from outside, it may go anytime. That's why Upanishad says you need not to bring anything from anywhere. You are already free. Just you have to know that you are free. Just like a small patch of cloud covers the sun and whole area becomes dark. A small patch of cloud, you see. Sun is how much? So many times bigger than the earth itself. And the small patch of cloud covers it. So also, small ignorance covers the knowledge. And we just try direct ourselves outside. Upanishad puts it, let me quote Upanishad, Kata Upanishad, Paranchikhani Vedrinat Swayambhuhu. Tasmat Parang Pashyati Na Antaratma. So nature throws up our sense organs to direct outside. Paranchikhani, Khani Indriyani, all Indriyas. Parang means outside, external. So nature designed it such a way that it is going external. Therefore, we do not seek Atma, na Antaratma. Then Kaschit Dhiraha. There's one rare Dhira. Dhira means intelligent one. We are talking about Buddhi. Dhi means Buddhi. So Dhira, intelligent person. Dhiyara, Dhiri, Dhira. Intelligent person. What he does? Avrita Chakshuhu. Pratyek Atmana Vaikshan. Then he wants to see the internal Atma. Why? He understood by analysis. Just pure analysis. He understood the external objects are limited. I will not get unlimited happiness there because limited things can never give you unlimited happiness. It is very simple calculation. Finite plus finite plus finite can never give you infinity. You add finite infinite times. It will be finite only. Infinity is a totally different category. So all external things, even the whole universe is finite compared to your nature. So you are much beyond this universe. You are infinite. Universe is as though nothing. Before the stars and planets, before the comets free, I was, I am, and I will be. Swami Vivekananda says. So that is the nature of the Upanishad. Upanishad teaches. So it gives the core of our life. It says, you do this. Then we become intrinsically happy without depending on anything external factors, which we want actually. Then we have reached the goal. That is the goal of the Upanishad. Nothing, it is not a very big, very difficult goal, nothing. What we are, Upanishad says, you just identify. That's what we do for external world. That's what we have discussed. We identify the object, I try to acquire it, and then we enjoy. There are 3 steps. With this only we spend whole life. The same thing we do. We identify. This is the happiness. Very, very clear cut. For that we need very, very clear brain thinking. That is our thinking capacity should be there. It is very simple logic. And without that, what happens? This world is today is very danger, very much danger. And we should not think that Vedas do not talk about the Vishaya Ananda. Also talks one part of Vedas called Karma Kandam. Karma Kandam, one majority, because majority wants that only, Vishaya Anandam. Nobody wants, most of the people do not want the Anandam from the Atma. Therefore, majority of the Veda talks about the Vishaya Anandam only. But you should know the Upaya. Suppose I know that earning money, so getting money is my Ananda. Suppose it's very good. But you should know the Upaya. Upaya means, I know if money comes, I'll become happy. Now I go and rob somebody. I steal some money. That is not to be done. That is very much different. That will throw whole society into jeopardy. Society will jeopardize. Either I'll be punished here or somewhere. Karma will come. So I should know also the means. You know Vishayananda, no problem. So scriptures, Veda says, you know the means. How to do this Ananda, this Ananda. Then finally, another part called Jnana Kandam, which is the Upanishad. Jnanam, called Upanishads. Now, it is almost time, so let me derive Upanishad. Upa, Ni, Shad, the 3 words. Shad is the Dhatu, the root. And Upa and Ni, they are called Upasarga, added behind the Dhatu. Dhatu is the root. For everything, there is a Dhatu according to Sanskrit grammar. So, Sad means to destroy. Visharana Gati Avasada. These 3 meanings are given. So, let us talk Visharana, which destroys. What it will destroy? It will destroy the ignorance. Wonderful derivation you see. Ni means Nischayena, with certainty. There is absolutely no doubt that it will not destroy. It will destroy. So Nischay, Ni Sad. Then Upa. Upa means going near. Going near to whom? Near means going nearest to yourself, or that also you can think near to somebody, illumined soul. That's it. Durlabham trayame vaitad devanugrahaitukam manushyatvam. Number 1, mumukshutvam. Your tremendous desire to become free, and Mahapurusha Samsayaha, a great teacher, approaching a great teacher. That's called Upa. Upa, Ni, Nischayena, Shad, to destroy. That is the meaning of Upanishad. It will destroy your ignorance once and for all. And the beauty is, once it is destroyed, it will not be back again. That is the point actually. It is our own. Once it is gone, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha Nainam Prapya Vimushyati Sthitvasyam Antakalevi Brahma Nirvana Mnichati. The last sloka of the 2nd chapter. Esha Brahmi Sthiti. That's called Brahmi Sthiti. Even if you get the last moment, suppose I'm about to die, and death means nothing to me. Death means simply a joke to me actually, because I do not die. I am not the body. I am not the mind, because body undergoes changes, mind undergoes changes, but I do not undergo any changes. What I was in the childhood, or what I am now, what I will be in the future, in my old age, and that's all that I will continue. So that is the Ananda Swarupam. Ananda Swarupam. So that is what Upanishad gives us. The entire life, it is the solace. It is life force. Everything can be derived from the Upanishad. Tremendous strength is there from that. When you know that you You are deathless. You get tremendous strength. So abhayam vai Brahma, abhayam vai Brahma, ya evam Veda. It is said. So abhayam vai Brahma. It is the fearlessness. That is Brahma. Anandam Brahma. It is said. Then Satyam Brahma. Existence is Brahman. Then knowledge is Brahma. All put together is only one. Anandam, Satyam, Jnanam, everything is only Brahman. That is our Swarupam, which we are already. So that is the importance of the Upanishads. All the Upanishads. And we are not going into the Upanishads. How many Upanishads? What are the topics of? So this is in general is the important. All the Upanishads ultimately will come to this conclusion only, that you are always already free. You have to know it. That's all. And your Swarupam is Atma. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Satyam. Take the Upanishad. Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Infinity. Infinity means not limited by time, not limited by space, not limited by vastu. Akhandam Satchidanandam Avang Manasagocharam. Another book says Akhandam Satchidanandam Avang Manasagocharam, because Yato Vach, another Upanishad says, beautifully it is put, Yato Vacho Nivartante Apraapya Manasa Saha. Vacha, the speech cannot reach there. Mind cannot reach there because all are limited. They are all matter principle. It is matter principle, whereas I am infinity, which is non-matter principle. This Chaitanyam, this Anandam is non-matter principle. While Vacha cannot reach, it will simply retract. It will recoil back. By speech you cannot express, by mind you cannot express. By mind only you can put effort to remove the obstacle. That's all. That much only you can do. By mind you can remove the obstacle and it will shine as it is with its own effulgence. Then therefore we will reach the goal and then we shall become free. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maharaj. Today, we will just enlighten with your insightful talk. It's a nice talk, and we are all grateful. And in what is the importance of Upanishad? So, in nutshell, we can conclude it that immerse into your own self. So, you nicely teach us that how to get and take out Ananda from Upanishadic teachings. So we are all grateful.
Yeah, thank you. In the time, actually, I already crossed 10 o'clock. Time also.
Yes, I can understand. So I won't take any more time, and I just want to tell everyone.
I want to tell that when I get into the topic, it was going on and on and all. I was going on. I forcibly stopped. There are so many things. Even the way I talked about the child, whether a child can be taught the Upanishads or not, that is another question. Whether a child can be taught or not. That is again another topic actually. It's a great topic. Yes, child can be taught. You'll be surprised to know that even child in the cradle can be taught. There is a great mother named as Madalasa. Madalasa, that great story. When the child was crying, so Madalasa is telling, why are you crying, my child? You are not this body. A name is given to you. You are the infinite soul. Do not cry. So that mother is imparting the teaching to the child. So even the child can be given this Upanishadic teaching. From the childhood onwards it can start. So there are many relevant topics also with that. So since I told 10 o'clock, actually I really feel grateful to our Ganesh Modakji to have us. Have with us.
On behalf of Academy, I express gratitude to you and to give us your valuable time. And if anybody has any question, please send us. So we will just forward it to Maharaj. So please take our pronoun, Maharaj.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
so I'll go offline.
Thank you very much, Maharaj ji, and also all the participants today. We are really very excited and happy also that you all are there is some technical issue inside all of this. It is really wonderful session. So thank you, Maharaj, and thank you and namaskar. সবাইকে আমাদের তরফ থেকে ধন্যবাদ। বাই, গুড নাইট।
Bye. Thank you.